Good morning, everybody. It is Thursday morning, March 23rd. I feel like I need to explain a couple of things before I do a card reading for a particular question. I've done cards twice this week, and a lot of people did not know that I did cards, so I want to explain why I'm pulling these out all of a sudden. My channel started in 2018 as Soul Purpose Tarot. I specifically started this channel because I wanted to learn how to do tarot cards, and I knew the only way for me to really get good, and this goes for anybody, is you've got to do it consistently. You've got to do it over and over and over again, because if you do something once every 6 months, you are never going to get good at it. And I didn't have enough friends that I could do tarot readings on over and over and over again without getting on their nerves. So I was like, I'm gonna start a YouTube channel, and that will make me do the horoscopes. And I decided I was going to do it every 2 weeks, and I did that for a year. So my channel was a tarot reading channel for a year. My goal was not to do tarot readings for individual people as a business per se, but I did do personal readings for people. At that time, I just did recorded readings, and I would get the information that I needed. I was able to grab onto their energy from that, and then I would record the reading and send it to them, and send them a picture of the cards and everything. So that's how I did it in the past. I quit doing tarot card readings on a regular basis when I had to go back to work. I had a year where I was able to take my foot off the gas from working 2 and 3 jobs because my dad had passed away, left me a little bit of money. So it eased up on the way I had been my whole life of work, 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 work. It gave me the time to work on myself. There was a lot of spiritual development that happened in that year. The tarot cards were a big part of it. I learned a lot about myself. I learned a lot about the stories, the things that maybe I was doing wrong, because the same stories kept coming out in the tarot cards over and over and over again. I would highly suggest that anybody that is trying to do a breakthrough, the best thing I did for myself was to learn how to do tarot, and was to open a YouTube channel and make yourself do it. Best giant stepping stone I ever did for myself. My intuition started coming in hot and heavy. And specifically, it came in when this happened. You know, I was ordering tarot cards, and mostly I got them off of Amazon because I liked the looks of them. A lot of times I couldn't do anything with them, but I got this one called, I think it's called Mystic Mondays. I got this one tarot card set, and I did a reading with him, and I didn't know what the hell the cards meant, because I am intuitive when it comes. I look at the card and something jumps out at me, and that's how I read it. And when I started using these cards, because I didn't know the technical meaning of each card, I had to use my intuition as to what they were telling me. And that's when kind of my business took off, when my intuition took off, the amount of readings, like the crowd that started watching me. So I don't read cards like a lot of people do. I don't know the meanings of all of the individual cards, but my intuition does, and it works. So anyway, that being said, I am going to do a reading today about a specific question. This comes up from something that happened the other day, talking to a girlfriend of mine. She asked me what was going on with we'll call him the married guy at work. You know who I'm talking about. And she's like, anything going on with him? And I was like, no, but I had a dream about him. I had a dream about him yesterday morning. We were moving, and we were not talking about the subject that needed to be talked about. I said it was like there was we weren't talking about the elephant in the room. And she said, oh my God, that's like the collective conscious right now, because she says I have the same issue going on with her guy. And that made me start thinking, if that is the collective conscious or the collective right now, I want to know what is the elephant in the room. So I'm going to do cards today and see if I can't figure out, again, this is kind of for my own, I don't know, learning, fun, entertainment. Doing these raises my vibrations, and you guys seem to like it. So for now, I'm just going to kind of keep doing it. And again, man, I don't know why I'm getting so hot all of a sudden. Something's going on with these cards, because when I do my videos for you guys in the past, I don't get super hot. So anyway, let's see. I'm gonna use these first. And what's my question is, I want the universe to tell me what are some of the subjects that people are avoiding. Okay, I like that question. What are some of the subjects people are avoiding? This could be with people you work with. This could be family, your kids, your neighbor, whatever. I want to know, what are some of the subjects that people are just avoiding talking about? And let's see if there's anything that can come out of here and if it'll make sense. I don't know. And maybe I have the wrong deck of cards. That's too many. Maybe there's nothing in this deck of cards that's going to answer that question, because nothing seems to be coming out. Okay, so that's my sign. I need a different deck of cards. I have a bunch. Let's try this one. Let's see if this one is any better. What are the subjects that okay, there we go. Oh, okay. Now we got it. Okay. So what are some of the subjects that people are avoiding? Oh yeah, these are the right cards, because now they're flying out. What are some of the subjects that people are avoiding? And another one. Let me just keep going. Well, that's a few too many. What are some of the subjects that people keep avoiding? The elephant in the room, the subject that nobody wants to talk about. Okay, I'm going to say I'm done with that. Oh, I have 4. Okay, so these kind of have the light attribute and the dark attribute. So I have 4 cards here. I'm just going to read what they say. One of them is called the Martyr. The Martyr, light attribute, learning the transcendent nature of service to oneself or a cause. And the shadow attribute, or the dark attribute, is addiction to self-pity. Does that resonate to anybody? So somebody is pitying themselves a lot, feeling very, very, very sorry for themselves. And there are people in the world that are wanting to tell you to get your head out of your ass. Queen, light attributes, radiates the regal feminine, uses her benevolent authority to protect others. And then the dark attribute, or shadow attribute, becomes arrogant when authority is challenged, controlling, and demanding. So somebody thinks that you, and take this however it resonates, I'm not specifically talking to you, but you know what I'm saying. Someone thinks you are controlling and demanding, and they don't want to bring that up. The other one is Midas, miser, light attributes, entrepreneurial or creative ability to turn anything to gold, delight in sharing life's riches. And then the shadow attribute is hoarding money and emotions. Oh gosh, the coloring on here. Otherwise, fear of losing your wealth. Well, I think that there's probably a lot of people out there right now that are afraid of losing their wealth. So somebody in your life wants to talk to you about that. And my guess is some people would probably say, money's not everything. It'll be okay. We'll work through this. We'll get through this. Same conversation I had with the banker on the phone a couple of weeks ago. I know you're worried. I know you're stressed. It's going to be okay. And the other one says bully. Light attributes highlights your tendency to intimidate others, helps you confront the inner fears that bully you. And then the shadow attribute is conceals deep fears behind verbal or physical abuse. Okay, so this would be somebody is seeing you getting physically abused or maybe verbally abused, and they are wanting to say something about it. There is something inside of them that is wanting to say, they keep thinking like, stay out of it, stay out of it, stay out of it. And they're wanting to have that conversation because it's very hard to watch when someone is being physically or emotionally or verbally abused and not wanting to help somebody get out of that. So somebody in the crowd here must be having some physical and verbal abuse happening in their life. So that is something, that's an elephant in the room that needs to be discussed, that people are afraid to bring up. There are probably more, but those are the cards that came out. Let me think. What's the next question? How can you, if you are the person that needs to bring up the conversation, how can you support the person in your life that you need to have that conversation with? How can you support that person in your life if you're afraid to bring up a conversation? How can you just support them? Too many cards. How can you support the people in your life that you need to have that conversation with? Maybe you're not ready to go there just yet. Maybe you fear, maybe it's somebody you live with. Maybe you're afraid they're going to kick you out. Maybe you're afraid that you could be homeless if you have that conversation. There's many reasons why people are afraid to have that conversation. It's always fear. It's fear of the unknown. It's fear of abandonment, rejection, fear that they could, fear that you could end up homeless. They could hold their money from you. And I also would say a lot of those relationships are probably codependent relationships. And that would be one of the reasons why you are hanging on for dear life, or they are hanging on for dear life, is because they are dependent on we'll call them the abuser, maybe, however that may play out. All right, now this may be another question. There might not be anything in these specific cards that have the answer. What can you do? Okay, nothing's coming out in that one. So let's pick another deck. What can you do to support the people in your, and see? One flew out already. What can you do to support the people in your life if you're not ready to have that conversation? What can you do to support the people in your life? There we go. Now we're getting it. Okay. The first one is be free. Take that how that resonates. The other one is moonlight. Okay, so what does that tell me? Something about at night. I feel like that's saying spend some time by yourself, get away from them. Okay, so I'm also noticing the crab on here. So I'm guessing that person that you want to have a conversation with is being really, really crabby. And since I'm getting like separate yourself from that person, I'm just going to say quit spending time with them. If it is somebody that you need to have a conversation with and you're not ready to have the conversation, separate yourself from them. Don't spend as much time with them. They're probably bringing your vibrations down, and they're trying to tell you just, don't like get sucked into their bullshit. Find your identity. I would also, God, that kind of goes along with the being in a codependent relationship, is if you find your identity, then you won't need to be in a codependent relationship anymore. You can survive on your own without the help of this other person. So anyway, this is a lot deeper than I thought it was going to be. See through the illusion. That's what that one says. We tend to get very stuck in this 3D world. And if you can separate yourself from the illusion that this is all about learning and look at it from the 20,000 view, you can separate yourself from that person who may be very tied into 3D, very programmed. That person is very, very programmed. They are trying to suck you into their programmed world. They're trying to suck you into the way they think. They are trying to control you. And if you can see through the illusion, that will make it a lot easier to separate yourself from that person. And the other one is slow down. Now, I will say about the slow down is so many people tend to keep themselves overly busy because that makes them not have to think about the elephant in the room. And I know that can be hard sometimes when you know there's a conversation that needs to be had. Sometimes the conversation's with yourself. Sometimes you're lying to yourself. So if you need to have a conversation with yourself about this is not working for me, this is not working for you, we need to call this quits. Again, whatever dysfunctional relationship is going on, slow down, spend some time with yourself, think about why you stay in the relationship, think about why you want to get out of it, think about what you can do to make things in your world better, and separate yourself. And you have to slow down to do that. Okay, I think that's it for now. I don't have any other cards up here that really resonate with me for this reading. I just wanted to see where it took me, so I did. And I wanted to talk to you real quick about all of you guys that were surprised that I did cards. Now you know, this is something that's kind of in my blood. I was told years ago by a psychic that I would be doing tarot cards. At the time, I ended up buying a deck of tarot cards that did not do me any good. I had to read in the book to figure out what it meant. If you want to learn tarot, get a good, normal, basic Rider-Waite tarot card deck and learn the meanings somewhat. I mean, you don't have to know them like everything about each one of them. I don't, and it still works for me. But anyway, learning your cards, and it brings a lot of magic into the world. And that's kind of why I'm doing these again, is because I could use some magic. You guys could use some magic. Have a great day. Bye.